Here at Southland Organics, we want to make your farm as strong and successful and secure as possible. One of those ways we hope we can help you is by giving you some ideas that you can take advantage of through the USDA NRCS. I've got Jose Pagan with me today. We're going to do a little interview about some programs that could help y'all financially and probably help you save some money in the long run with some other things we can influence. So, Jose, tell me a little bit about what NRCS does, what's your goal, things like that.
So our main objective is to help people help the land, and we can do that on a volunteer basis, or our programs are offered to everybody on a volunteer basis, and we can also help with technical aspects of the farm production and food production here. There are 5 natural resources that we try to help them protect: soils, the water, air, plants, and animals. Cool. So anything that's impacting those resources, we try to address so that the farmer stays productive and sustainable. So
what would you say, like a practical, you could get money for doing, insulating your house, or what are some specifics you think they could do?
Well, the most popular practices that we have when it comes to poultry operations are mostly related to animal waste management.
Okay.
A lot of poultry producers know that there's a lot of chicken manure that's produced.
Yeah.
So that could be a problem, but also it could be very beneficial. It could be a pollutant of the environment, but used in an agronomic way, it definitely provides a benefit. It's a good source of nutrients for crops, and that's a good way of disposing properly of those programs. So we kind of take the guessing game out of that. So if you have a X amount of chicken litter that you have, you got a X amount of acres that you have, we could try to correlate that amount to a specific amount of land to meet your crop needs.
Sure.
So that is accomplished by, we promote the soil testing and manure testing to equate those needs.
You mentioned, we were talking earlier, and you mentioned probably, as I would think, one of the most relevant right now, antibiotic-free is in poultry.
Mm-hmm.
So compared to 3 years ago, we've seen a lot more mortality. Not just catastrophic, but just the day-to-day mortality has increased. So
yes.
What are some things that they could do, like to go, hey, there's a program for stack houses or something like that?
Programs vary from year to year, and some of the practices vary from state to state. But in essence, I could say some of the ones that we have more experience with this. In terms of utilizing mortality or animal waste, we can help provide design and cost share assistance in developing or installing or constructing stack houses, which is to store the manure. A lot of times when you have to clean up your chicken houses, you cannot spread it out in the field because it's raining or because your crops are already in place and you don't need them, so you store them for X amount of times until you're ready to use them or somebody used them. Composters are a good way of staying away from the waste pits that could potentially pollute groundwater.
Yes.
So composters are an excellent way to substitute to those pits also, and incinerators.
Okay.
There are some incinerators are also available to or offered to poultry producers that might be interested in managing their mortality that way.
I know that up north, and I say north more in I think Delmarva, Virginia, I know there's some areas where you can't even put litter out anymore.
Yeah.
So these are some things that I would think they would be desperate to be able to take advantage of some of those situations.
And again, those things are just tools to help farmer stay on top of the game in terms of when it comes to those things. It could definitely be considered something that could bring fines or get you in trouble with environmental protection agencies within the state, and that's part of our deal too. Yeah. We want farmers to stay out of trouble when it comes to that. So, and we strive to try to get that in the farm, in the production systems too. Even so, I mean, one of the things that it's more has been also can impact also the poultry production is something like roof runoff. I mean, those roofs on the poultry houses, can move a lot of water when it rains. And so we can help with also even gutters. And all these things are engineered. They have to be sized properly so they work effectively. And a lot of times, even not necessarily directly to the production of chickens and poultry. That roof runoff, that excessive water could start creating erosion that could undermine the foundations of the houses, for example. And if that happens, it's a problem too.
We just did a video recently. I don't even know if it's come out yet or it's coming out, but it was about wet litter, and we talked about storm runoff and how that will sometimes affect even the inside of the house. So it's great to have a program that's going to help the natural resources, and also you may be having an issue inside your house that's still. So that's pretty awesome, these things that USDA NRCS provides. It's pretty amazing.
Well, and one of those things that I think it's one of the most exciting things that is coming up that we've been working with there. It's a new resource concern that we've been tasked with and trying to tackle with. It's energy.
Yeah.
I mean, every poultry producer knows how much expenses are involved in heating or cooling your chicken houses, depending on the time of the year. So throughout our programs, we are also able to assist in doing evaluations or an assessment of the conditions of the house in terms of energy conservation. Because, energy conservation is paramount also, too. So things like insulation, like lights, the type of lights that we're using, the heating elements also, and those sort of things are also a possibility with some of the programs that we offer to the poultry producers.
It's interesting you say that. I have a grower in Virginia who, I believe it's 4 houses. I know that 2 of them were older, and his integrator was wanting him to do some insulation stuff, and he fought it. He said, but Alan, he said, I just finished it. He said, and the difference it made in my heating bill, but I'm not even sure he was able, I don't even know that he took advantage of the NRCS programs. That's why I'm loving that we're doing this video, because here's some things that can help you and help our environment.
It is a pretty penny when it comes to working on those chicken houses to bring it up to par. And sure, a lot of integrators are not allowing those producers to move ahead if they don't take care of that. And that could put a big dent on your budget.
So let me ask you this. Let's say I've got that guy and he was not maybe able to take advantage of it. What if we're talking to people who go, yeah, my house is, but boy, if I could get a little help on that, I'd do it in a heartbeat. How would somebody go from, yeah, I'm in, where do I start? Where do I go?
All right. A lot of things that the programs that we offer, you got to get like an account with the USDA.
Okay.
It's usually what we call a farm and track number. There's no obligation on that. Just you got to go visit your local USDA service center. And the initial part of the visit should be getting that account number, what I call. It's like a farm and track number with the Farm Service Agencies, which is our sister agency. They do mostly the administrative part, the paperwork, getting eligibility, and there's some things that will be required for that, like you got to bring a plat sheet, delineate your boundaries of the property. Mm-hmm. You got to bring a deed because the potential is you're going to enter into a contract with the USDA, and you might want to make sure that that USDA wants to make sure that it's entering into a legal contract with the proper owners, or it could be an operator. Lease land is also, or lease operation also, but you could have also show evidence that you are in control of the land for the length of the contract.
Sure.
You get that account, what I call an account, like an account number, and then you could those documents will help the Farm Service Agency determine if you're eligible for the contract. There's also adjusted gross income considerations too. If you're making too much money, you might not be eligible for these because, for obvious reasons. Yeah. But that does not exclude you from getting technical assistance from us, because technical assistance is always free and is a good product. A lot of times, just knowing what you need to do, it's a valuable information. So, and once you get that you could apply directly to your local office, NRCS office, for the program that might be of interest. As I said, there's Environmental Quality Incentive Program. EQIP is the main one that it comes to my mind. And the CSP, the Conservation Stewardship Program, has that's what we call takes it to the next level of conservation. That's usually offered to people that already have reached a high level of conservation and want to take it to the next level, and that could be activities that will incorporate wildlife management to touch on the other resource concerns that not necessarily were your initial concern, like animal waste, waste utilization, all that, but will bring benefit to the general environment.
So they just need to find their local office, which I'm sure most of them do.
Yes.
And then go there, get your number set up, you get count, and then maybe, it seems to me that maybe either look at all the programs offered, or what is something that you need, and see if there's a program that helps
come on,
that.
Alan. You got to let us work together with those guys. So we are available to talk to the producers in terms of and provide that guidance. That's part of my job. Tell them which way to go, to give them some direction on how to navigate through some of the bureaucratic process, which is important and required. And usually the name of the game is you want want to participate. What is the impact of the things that you're wanting to do? So USDA tries to put a higher value on practices that really make a difference in terms of environment. For animal waste management, energy conservation are high priority. Our high priority practices or concerns that we like to address. What I usually tell farmers are interested in having increasing their chances in getting selected for that funding, it's look at the resource concerns that are around, and try to hit as many as you can. Yeah. Also, the applications, if you get selected, there's a couple of ways that the funding goes. You could get paid up to 75% of the cost of installing the conservation practices that you might be interested in. There's also a little way of going even further, 90% cost share. And usually, but that 90% cost share is also those are outreach or special occasions. Offered already to beginner farmers, minority farmers, veterans, and so on. And that particular group of people that might be interested. Usually, a beginner farmer is considered one that's been farming for less than 10 years.
Oh wow!
And I've seen farms that are working on energy efficiency, updating it, and you can get contracts easily on the $80,000-$90,000 plus. Depends on the size of your operation. Yeah. So imagine that that is a significant impact on the finances of a farming ranch.
It's a win-win.
Yes, it is.
Everybody's win.
Yes, it is.
I tell you what, to me, I've liked. I don't deal with the NRCS that much, but in my poultry growers, I've dealt with over the last 6 years, and we've got hundreds of customers all over the country. But I never hear really of a grower who ever has spoken bad about the NRCS. It's a great program that I think really benefits growers. And maybe I don't even think they take full advantage of it. But I just think NRCS is really cool because of the way they help. And it, like you said, you may not even qualify for a program, but hey, we'll give you some technical assistance too.
Yeah.
We're here to help.
We got engineers on staff, agronomists on staff, biologists on staff too. I mean, even social workers on staff. Because agriculture has a very important part in the rural environment and the rural society. And so we want that to stay in place and stay healthy because that's where the main production area is. We go just about anywhere when it comes to food production and the conservation of the natural resources to help those farms stay in business and sustainable.
Good. Well, Jose, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule
and
enlightening on these things. And if we can do anything for you here at Southland Organics and plug you in, and in fact, I could probably get Jose to get, if I ever have a question, hey, is there a local office in that area? But hopefully this has been a benefit to you, and maybe now you can take advantage of some of these things so that we can help you be more successful and keep your farm healthy.